Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Today we're going to profile a political religious leader in Islam that stands out as one of the foremost leaders in an Islamic environment over the last maybe even 2 centuries. Today we're going to look at Ayatollah Khomeini, and many of you remember him as the figure behind the Iranian Revolution, the mind, the organizer, the activist. So let's start with a little bit of his background. Ayatollah Khomeini, formerly known as Ruhollah Khomeini, he was a significant political and religious leader in Iran who played a pivotal role in the revolution of 1979. He was born in Khomein in Iran around about the early 1900s, 1902, and passed away in 1989, so 87 years of age. Khomeini was a Shia cleric. He was not only a Shia cleric, he was the Marja Taqlid. Now, the Marja Taqlid is the most respected cleric in the land. So he had a religious authority, and through that religious authority, he wielded significant power in his country. But he rose to prominence through his strong opposition to the Shah of Iran, Mohammad Reza Pahlavi, of the Pahlavi dynasty, whom he criticized for corruption, association with Western powers, and policies of westernization and secularization. Now, his outspoken criticism of the status quo of the regime led to his exile in 1964. And over this period, he spent years in exile in Turkey, in Iraq, and finally in France. Now, the life of the Pahlavi regime and Mohammad Reza Pahlavi says a lot about affluence when people are in leadership in areas where there are significant resources in the country. The Pahlavi dynasty had no problem spending money lavishly on themselves. Let's talk about the Iranian Revolution, also known as the Islamic Revolution. So it was a series of events that culminated in the overthrow of Iran's monarchy, as mentioned, alluded to earlier on, the monarchy of Shah Mohammad Reza Pahlavi, and eventually the establishment of the Islamic Republic under Ayatollah Khomeini in 1979. Now, this particular revolution was notable for its lack of revolutionary leadership aside from Khomeini, and it involved mass participation from various societal segments. And you could argue it is the genius of Ayatollah Khomeini in the management and the direction of that revolution, albeit from outside the country, through tapes and lectures, etc. Ayatollah Khomeini was successful in his endeavors in that they finally overthrew the Pahlavi regime, and some of the outcomes that stands out post that revolution was the departure of the Shah Pahlavi. He left Iran in 1979 for medical treatment, never to return. And immediately after that, a couple of months after that, in April 1979, the establishment of the Islamic Republic after they had a national referendum in the country. Other events that stands out internationally would be the hostage crisis of November 1979, where the US embassy was held hostage in that year. Then I think it's important to look at Ayatollah Khomeini's leadership style, since he played such a central and transformative role in the Iranian Revolution. So his leadership was certainly pivotal in all aspects of that revolution. And we look at the ideological leadership, for example. Here's an interesting understanding of leadership that Ayatollah Khomeini contributes from an academic perspective. So Khomeini provided the ideological foundation for the revolution through his concept of Vilay Faqih, the guardianship of the Islamic jurist. So this concept advocated that a Shia religious leader should govern society because they best understand God's laws as prescribed in Islam. His ideas offered a clear alternative to the secular and westernizing policies of the Shah, appealing to the widespread desires of a government grounded in Islamic principles. Then, important is to look at his mobilization of support in as a unifying figure for various dissatisfied groups within Iran, including intellectuals, the clergy classes, and business classes at, let's say, the market levels or the bazaris. And as mentioned earlier, the technology of the time used cassette tapes, speeches, and various letters to spread his messages. In this way, galvanizing support across different segments of Iranian society. His communication called for the overthrow of the Shah and instrumental in organizing and motivating the masses to that end. Throughout this revolutionary process, Khomeini displayed acute strategic acumen. He managed to keep the various factions of the revolutionary movement, ranging from leftist groups to more conservative religious circles, all of these under his leadership. And then eventually his return to Iran in February 1979, a month after the Pahlavi Shah leaves the country. That was the moment of immense symbolic importance to the nation, and it marked the near culmination of the revolutionary struggle. Post-revolution consolidation. After the Shah's departure and the declaration of the Islamic Republic, Khomeini took the role of supreme leader, Marja Taqlid. In this capacity, he was responsible for guiding the ideological and political transformation of the country. His leadership helped to establish the structures of the new theocratic state, including the drafting of a new constitution that enshrined his principle of Vilaya Faqih as the cornerstone of the new government and governance. So the new theocracy under Khomeini's leadership transformed Iran from a monarchy under the Pahlavi regime to the new theocratic republic, reshaping its political landscape fundamentally and setting the stage for its subsequent domestic and international policies as we see them play out today. His impact during and after the revolution has defined Iran's modern history and continues to influence its societal and political structures. Now, I've seen some of the videos of hours before his death, and literally millions of Iranians outside his hospital waiting for his last and final message. Many of them guns blazing, AK-47s blazing, let me put it that way. And in anticipation, some were saying, is he going to ask them to start World War III? Is he going to ask them to attack America? And they were all stunned by his final message. And the message went something like this: I ask you, people, to beseech on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to accept my humble body. If you find these short lectures useful, please like and subscribe to my channel. Remember, in the world of power, cultural power is often more important than politics and economics. As Muslims in the world, we need to rebuild our cultural power globally. This is done through unity and support in every sphere possible. Knowledge is power. Jazakallah khairan.